If you have any questions, please visit our website at www.abnsat.com. Under the Webcast tab, you can view ABN's live streaming channels like Jesus or Muhammad, Youth TV, Apologetics, and more. We also encourage you to donate to our ministry. To do so, click on Donate to ABN under the main menu, then click on Donate button to make your donation. ABN greatly appreciates your help.
Jihad has come to America.
Constitute the most devastating series of terrorist attacks in history.
The only deen Allah accepts is Al-Islam. And whoever seeks any other deen apart from Islam will never be accepted.
Allahu Akbar! And we stand together to win the war against terrorism.
But you too will make your destruction.
Welcome back to Jihad Exposed, live on ABN. My name is Summer. We have two former PLO terrorists, Kamal Salim and Waleed Shubat, in the studio. We also have Muslim apologist Farhan Qureshi with us. Thank you, all three of you, for joining us. Our website is abnsat.com. If you have friends who wish to watch this show or many other of ABN's programs, they can go to our website, which is abnsat.com. And our phone lines are 248-416-1300. Make sure you call us. Again, our topic tonight is Al-Qaeda in America. Our next topic in 2 weeks from today will be Inside the Mind of a Terrorist. And who better to talk with us about that than two former terrorists. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I want to ask Waleed a question. Waleed, talk to us about the rise of Al-Qaeda's recruitment in the West in particular. It certainly makes it easier for someone who already has a U.S. passport to travel worldwide on behalf of Al-Qaeda, but talk to us a little about how they get the attention of people here in the West who initially possibly have no idea about Islam or jihad and so forth.
Well, you have Muslim student unions in this country. We have to understand the history behind all of the fundamentalist movements. You had Hizb ut-Tahrir from Palestine. You had the Muslim Brotherhood. Al-Qaeda really is part of the umbrella of the Muslim Brotherhood. We cannot isolate, when we study Al-Qaeda, we can't isolate it by itself. They are really interconnected. The Taliban is very well interconnected with Al-Qaeda as well. The Muslim Brotherhood began in the 50s, even in the 60s in the US. And when Al-Qaeda was born, they simply used a lot of the elements that were already in existence. And so the infiltration in the university campuses and the funding from mosques in the United States, as I said before, Ayman Zawahiri was in the US. He was in Northern California raising funds. And the first Al-Qaeda manual came from a Qaeda operative in the US. So they use American citizens. Plus, they use the internet by and large. Anwar Awlaki used the internet and used email to begin to inculcate the mind of Nidal Malik Hassan in order for him to carry out an attack at Fort Hood. In the last year, we had 11 attacks in this country. Some failed, some succeeded. So, it goes many years behind. It's not something new. Al-Qaeda, as our Muslim friend said, was focused on Saudi Arabia. That's true. But it's also focused in the United States because they believe also the United States and Saudi Arabia is interconnected via the usage of the oil and the dependency on the oil. So they were in the U.S. a long time ago, and many of them infiltrated the military and the school level. It starts by converting Americans as well. So we have American stocks who converted to Islam first. Our guest talked about liberalism and why liberalism is going to take over the world when the next generation is removed or when the baby boomer is gone. That seems to be a danger because Al-Qaeda begins to recruit from the liberal movements. Johnny Jihad was a liberal, so was Hassan, Hassan, the guy who threw a grenade in Camp Pennsylvania in Kuwait. These were liberal people. It starts by liberalism, and then it ends up to use the dissatisfaction of these students with American society, American way of life, American Constitution, as they are taught that America is an imperialist country. So it begins in being distraught with American way of life. And then, of course, when you are not proud of your own culture, another culture can easily take over. In this case, Islam. Islam can offer the liberal many things that a liberal believes in, because if you look at liberalism and Islam, and this is why our Muslim guest is, he's very much pro-liberal. It's not as Islam is a conservative system per se. Islam is not a conservative system. If you compare it with liberalism, it has a lot in common with the liberal way of thinking. They're both universalists. In other words, as you played the clip just a minute ago, Islam is going to take over America, he was saying in the Arabic language. So they are universalists. They have a lot in common with socialism. Socialism is also universalist. Of course, America tends to be a nationalistic country that wants to protect its borders.
Farhan, do you agree with that point of view?
I mean, I'm not sure what he means by universalist, because universalism is the idea that everyone from, no matter what spiritual path you follow, you can make it to heaven. That's the theological understanding of what universalism is. So I'm not understanding what he means by universalism.
Okay, real quick, Waleed, did you want to clarify it for him so that he can comment?
It's very easy. The Prophet of Islam says, أُمِرْتُ أَنْ أُقَاتِلَ النَّاسَ حَتَّى يَقُولُوا لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ مُحَمَّدٌ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. I've been ordered to fight the people till everyone say there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. The idea of spreading Islam to the world is part of an Islamic concept. This is why all Muslims must pray to Allah in the Arabic language, because Arabic becomes one language for the whole world, a universalist ideology to try to kind of remove nationalism. In fact, Islam has no national borders. I think he should understand that quite well.
Farhan, the mic's all yours.
No, I think there's a difference between evangelizing and proselytizing a faith and taking over the world. I think that the Quran is definitely promoting to spread the message, but that would be evangelizing. It wouldn't be universalism.
Islam is a religion and a state, making the whole globe a state. Does he deny Muhammad says al-Islam deen wa dawla?
You didn't have any other comments, Farhan? I just wanted to make sure that you had the opportunity to talk because you got cut off a little earlier.
Oh no, I was hearing what he was saying. I think he may have just misunderstood the definition of what universalism is, and he's trying to say something else about Islam, and that's what's confusing me right now.
Okay, well, let's move on just for time's sake purposes. Kamal, why do you think, or it's sort of on the same lines as what I was asking Waleed, sort of, why do you think that the U.S. is turning a blind eye to this growth of Islam in the West? Kamal, can you hear us? Oh, we must have lost Kamal's audio right there. Yeah, we must have lost his audio right there.
I can answer the question.
Yeah, go ahead, Waleed, until we get Kamal back on.
Well, you see, the problem is that the U.S. Pretty much honors the rights for all religions to be practiced. It respects all religions. The right of religion is part of the Constitution of this country. And since Islam is coming across as a religion, America is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do they address Islam as an ideology, similar to the way of addressing communism, or socialism, or even Nazism? Or do they address Islam as a religion? And the problem with that is that if they began to address Islam as an ideology that is separate from religion, they fear that they're going to infuriate many Muslims, and plus they think that the majority of the Muslim populace is peaceful and tend to be just religious and not adherents to the Sharia code of Islam. So they believe that by adhering and by trying to reach out to what they call the moderate group, moderate Islam or moderate Muslim world, they think they can gain against the Muslims who want to include Sharia laws and include a system of government and include an Islamic constitution, and by that they can become victorious against the radicals. So it's a policy issue, and it's not an issue based on reality or on fact. So to answer your question, this is the reason why the U.S. is addressing Islam as simply a religion, but it's a faulty reasoning.
Do you think that the U.S. is opening the door for al-Qaeda to some degree? I mean, are there loopholes in our Constitution, our constitutional rights to allow someone to preach jihad in the States without any repercussion? And that's for Kamal or Walid.
Well, since Kamal is not answering, I can answer.
Right.
But you see, the problem is the way they categorize the Muslim community. The way the U.S. categorizes terrorism versus non-terrorists is the explosive act. So Al-Qaeda does explosive acts. The Muslim Brotherhood does not do any explosive acts. So they will tend to see and think that they could reason with elements of the Muslim Brotherhood, which teaches the ideological part. So from that perspective, we need to understand, I guess, to solve this whole issue, we need to understand, first of all, what is Al-Qaeda's goal? What does Al-Qaeda want? Do they want to destroy America? Well, no, not really. The intent is not to destroy America. The intent is to begin to punish America for their rejection of Islam in order to make them kowtow to Islam. Al-Qaeda uses the violent means to do so. But the goal of Al-Qaeda and the goal of the Muslim Brotherhood, the goal of Anwar Awlaki, the goal of Faisal Abdul Rauf are the same, and that's the issue that the West needs to begin to focus on. That is, what's the goal? We gotta go to the spigot. What's the origin? Where do we go to the source of the problem? And we gotta also understand what is the goal of the issue, what is the result of the problem. And somehow the West is stuck somewhere in between, not being able to close the spigot from the source of the issue and not be able to address the core of the issue, and that is Sharia. Sharia is the goal of Islam, period. There is no serious scholar that can deny it, even though our guest will attempt to. It just simply won't work.
Farhan, your comments on that. I saw you laughing a little earlier. Why don't you comment on what Walid was saying?
Okay, no, I mean, I laughed because he categorized Imam Rauf with, some pretty conservative and radical organizations, which is absolutely...
I gave you a quote. You didn't refute it.
Excuse me?
I gave you his quote. You did not refute it.
Well, I was trying to give you his quote. The thing about Imam Rauf, I mean, if we're going to talk about Imam Rauf, I do want to talk about what he was saying, because he's also wrong about what Al-Qaeda's agenda is and what these terrorist organizations' agendas are.
Why don't you focus on that then? Then what Al-Qaeda, in your mind as a Muslim American, what their agenda and what their goal is?
Now, this isn't me speaking as a Muslim American. This is information available to anyone who wants to access it. What they're angry about, what they're frustrated about, is the level of influence that foreign policies are having on their country. They're upset about having dictators and monarchs leading their country. They're upset about having American military in their countries. They're upset about the Palestinian situation. They're upset about the Kashmiri situation in Pakistan. That there are foreign influences in their countries. It's a political issue. Now, as far as that is their frustration, that is their agenda, is to expunge these elements out from the Muslim world. Do I agree with that? No. But this is their mentality.
Well, that's their mentality based on what Islam teaches them, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
I said that. I mean, that you said that that's their mentality, even